What's up? How's it going, everybody listening? Yeah, so just checking out gold. So just trying to use this first part here from 7 till midnight New York time. This part right here. Trying to use this as kind of a sample size for what's going to happen for the next part of the day. So the next part of the day would be this area in red here. This would be the next part of the day. So yeah, I was just trying to break down each move piece by piece to see if there's a correlation with how it moves. So you got this first little white box here, would be this one here. This one's fairly similar. And then the next prediction, this yellow box here, would be over here. And it's similar to in a way in that it starts at one side of the box, moves up to the other. And then this white box here, this is just the 2-hour London Open. The first 2 hours of London Open. So I wanted to see how the liquidity that comes into the first 2 hours kind of changes the way the line moves. Next bar is this, or the next block is this green one here. And this is its buddy. So these ones definitely aren't similar to me in any way. I don't see anything similar about them. Next block is this purple one here. This one's similar in that it just goes down, up, back down. And this white box is the 2-hour New York Open. So I was thinking how the white line starts to kind of squiggle like that. I was thinking that's kind of like when liquidity comes in, that's kind of what happens. It has to go up and down like that. And then right about here, this is the 9:30, and that's right when another huge burst of liquidity comes in too. So, and I was thinking that kind of reminded me of surface area, like when you're painting and stuff. Um, it's kind of hard to explain, but for some reason it reminded me of surface area, like it can't just go like in a straight line. Like there's so much liquidity, it has to cover a larger surface area by doing squiggles. And that's because of the time factor that's involved. If that kind of makes sense, like it can't just all fit into that line. Maybe it's more like if you thought of it like electricity, like it can't just all go in that one line. It has to, the frequency has to be higher, is what I'm thinking of. Like there has to be more waves. So you can kind of keep that in mind if you ever see those squiggles anywhere else. I'm not saying that's true, but I'm saying like there could be like that could be something to think about. So then our next box here would be this brownish orange box on the left. Just kind of pulls right up. So this it's similar in a way, just because it starts from one side and it moves up to the other area in the box. Next box being the blue one. It's kind of the high point. Then it drops off. So that one's another really good box. And it's funny too because that's the high point in our fractal example. And over here it's a pretty high point. It's almost the high, but not quite. So I've checked out a few of these whole examples on different days, and the highs don't always line up, but sometimes they do. So the next red box right here is right here. Um, Yeah, it starts on that corner, which it should because, it's from the other box. So there's not much relationship there. A little tiny bit because it's going down. And then the last box is this one here. So not much relationship there either. Here, I'll turn on the bars and see what that looks like. Candles. Yeah, it's kind of a lot to look at, hey? You can see like the actual line stays in the box. Candles, they go out of the box. So yeah, once again, here's our example size from this point far left to right here. So between those two, that's the 7 p.m. till midnight New York time. Using this to predict this next portion of the day. I've noticed it works a lot. It definitely works a lot. There's a lot of correlation, but in this example here, I was just trying to break it down a little bit more. Yeah, and then here's the halfway point in our fractal example. And then I broke it down into eighths. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and then halfway. 5, 6, 7/8, and then there's the end. And then here, that's your first eighth. 2/8, 3/8, halfway. 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and then the end point here. So the high point of the day, or the highest price of the day in this fractal example. What is that? There's halfway. So it's at 5/8. And then matches almost perfectly here. Really interesting, guys. You can go back and do this on almost, I've checked out like 5 different instruments. The only one that looked weird was, didn't really work out that great, was US 30. And I went back like as far as it would take me. And there was points where it wouldn't work for maybe like a week or so at a time, but then other weeks it would just work like every single day pretty much. So I don't know if it's like you turn off the algorithm for like certain days, or maybe it's just because there's so much money movement that it changes everything, or maybe there's a certain point where it cancels out once like something specific happens in the market. But this is a pretty good example. Low of the day, beginning of the day. So yeah, that's true too. So yeah, these red bars here, that's our fractal example. Trying to predict this next area in black. So when you first look at it, the easiest thing and the simplest way that I found to use this is just to pick out the easiest, most prominent things like high point, low point, couple big blips, low point. So the other thing that I added on that was really helpful is just this big blue bar at the top. And all that does is it's a template I use so that I can easily mark out time frames for every day. But all it does is, like, the first version I came up with was it started here and went to the end. So the two endpoints, start and finish, I had a mark here for this point, and then I just had this point right in the half of the fractals, and then my halfway point for the next session we were trying to predict. And that's all I had. And then after that, I broke it down into quarters to get more landmarks on my chart. And that helped out a lot, helped out a ton. Because like halfway point here is right here. Halfway point here, right here. So here's a bump here. Here's a bump here. Here's a bump. So we almost got like 3 bumps. 1, 2, tiny one there, 3. We can see that here, 1, 2, 3. So you kind of say to yourself, like, okay, you've just seen this part here. You've just seen this fractal piece here, and you're trying to get your trades ready for the upcoming day. You could say, like, you're just going to take a buy right here, which would be here. Take a buy here, and you're just going to hold it until you're happy with your pips, and then you're going to close out. Because in your mind, you're thinking that this is a pretty safe setup because it all looks upwards, even though it doesn't always turn out like that. But if you did that, in this example, it would turn out pretty good because you'd close your buy there, close it up here maybe around midpoint here. You would have caught a low here because you know these are going to be some good pullbacks. So you might have scaled in here, got another couple buys on some lows, and then 3/4 way through the day, which is about there, I think. Let's see. Halfway's here. Yeah, so about 3/4 way through the day, you would have tried to just get a top and just close your buy, which would have been, well, this is about 3/4 way through the day. And then here, what's this? Oh yeah, okay, so that's right. So 3/4 is right here. So yeah, this is telling us it's just before 3/4. Well, yeah, I marked it out. It's what's that? What do you call that? Is that 5/8? Yeah. So your 5/8 mark. So halfway, 5/8. Yeah, actually, this is a really good example. Yeah, 5/8. Yeah, so pretty straightforward, really, if you know kind of how it works. Yeah, I find it super interesting. Could put the wicks back on. Yeah, we can see another example here. Yeah, just the overall look, like dip up, dip up, dip up, dip up. Got another little dip. Here's my little template I just toss on. Yeah, so if you were gonna check this one out, it's so here's the halfway point, 9:30. So this is telling you that there's gonna be a drop before lunchtime. It's also telling you the high point is most likely gonna be right at the start of the day. So take a sell at the start, look for a dip before lunch, and you're done for the day. Pretty easy, eh? Like even so drop candle, up candle, a little bit higher. So drop candle, lots of up movement. So that even shows right there. It doesn't always, sometimes it's wrong, but like some examples are just like, oh my gosh, crazy. Drop before lunch. So let me double check. Is that lunch? It almost looks like it's off or something. Oh, maybe it is off. Okay, so here, oh yeah, my bad. So it's not this one. So this one's lunch. That 9, 6:45. Well, you could keep it down there. Yeah, somewhere around there. So yeah, this is actually our lunch one. My bad. 9. Drop. Dip. Dippity dip. Dippy 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 dip. So yeah, it's still there anyhow. Yeah, middle. Yeah, no, that's right. So instead of being before lunch, which it still was, it was more kind of in the center. Big run up candle, big run up candle, big drop after that. So it's funny that that doesn't really show up in this example. You know, oh, it's kind of there a little bit, but I mean, like hard to notice unless you really spread it apart. And then the rest of the day, chop chop, and that's it. Don't really see this big cup, big wick. That's interesting. Hmm. Pretty interesting stuff. Let's do another day. This stuff's so interesting. Ah, my template's buggered. This is what I don't understand. Sometimes it shrinks it. Or maybe it's not. Yeah, no, it is shrunk. Piece of crap. Oh, see, now it's big. It's too big now. Yeah, weird. It's because I zoomed in or something. Anyhow, 7. Yeah, I'm too lazy to mark it out. But if you just eyeball it, so using this short little example to predict this next black bar period. So kind of goes sideways, little dip, big dip, moves up. Yeah, so this one didn't really play good for us, eh? Didn't really work out nice. And this is gold on the 5 minute. But still, it still has some features in it. Like it would be nice if if I could place yeah, my tool's gonna be off here. Pretty close. Could at least mark the halfway, right, guys? Come on. Durka durka. So, halfway point. So, this one might have done you dirty because it's saying you could have just bought at the start, hold until lunch, or sell at the start, close at lunch. So, if you did that, you'd have been down, boys. You'd have been down. Oh, I'm getting a call. 1 second. Oh, I gotta go check on the baby. Hold on, boys and girls. I'll just close the stream for now, actually.